What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a very quick tutorial on how to set up a draft board and reorder that draft board in the Madden 22 scouting update. Now, the reason that I'm making this video is because I've gotten to some off seasons recently and been doing some scouting in various different leagues, and people have been saying that they didn't think that under the new scouting update that you could create a draft board for yourself or that you could reorder that draft board, which is actually not necessarily correct. So whenever we go into scout college players, it will allow us to favorite those players. So whenever I click Scout College Players, it will then bring up this menu. I can click on Prospects to show all of the players. And you guys can see here that I have about the top 10 players favorited. I'm going to remove all of these players from this list, and that will take it so that whenever I go down to the favorites list, there's nobody here. However, this is essentially your draft board this year. Your favorites list is your draft board. The first thing that I have to recommend to you guys is that you try to put this in order of your top important players. So for example, if you like Joe Spitzer better than Rashad Fleming, try to favorite that player first and then favorite the second guy after that. If you try to favorite them in order, that will automatically establish an order for these players and will put them in the order that you favorite them. So if you already have the knowledge of the fact that if you order these guys from the beginning, you will avoid having to reorder somewhat later on if you realize, oh, maybe this guy is more valuable than that guy. Maybe I value quarterback more than cornerback. If you do some ordering to begin with, you can help yourself out. Now, that means probably not going down the list of quarterbacks and favoriting every single quarterback, and then going down the list of halfbacks and favoriting every halfback that you like, because then you will have all of the quarterbacks over top of all of the halfbacks. Instead, it can be beneficial to, right off the bat, favorite your best quarterback. Then if halfback's your second most important position, favorite the top halfback that you like, then maybe go to another position where there's somebody at the top that you like and favorite them in that order, and then go back to the quarterback, go back to halfback, and do it that way. If you can do some type of an order like that, you might save yourself some time, but there is a way to go into your favorites list and reorder these players. So if I go back using L2 to my favorites list, I can simply reorder these players by pressing and holding X on them. As you guys can see down there towards the bottom middle, bottom left, it says hold X to reorder. So if I just tap X on a player, which, I make this mistake a lot, it's just going to bring up that player. All right, it's just going to bring up their player card and all the information about them. However, if you press and hold X, it will then give you a check mark next to them. I'm still holding X. I can then drag this player up and down on the list, and it will reinsert them above or below the player in the spot that you chose. So for example, if I wanted to make this guy the number one player on my list, I can move him all the way to the top, and he now becomes the top player on my favorites list. So the question then becomes, if you do order your players on your favorites list, does it still act as a draft board in the way that previous Madden's draft boards have? In the previous Maddens, you could set your draft board, put it in a select order, and that would tell your team to select those players in that order that you have them on your draft board. In the event that you're not there for the draft, it gets simulated, anything like that, your team would prioritize the players on that list. So let's go ahead and start drafting here. I traded up for the first overall pick, and we should get a good idea here for what we're looking at in terms of drafting in order of our favorites list. So if I go to my favorites list and I take, for example, Jimmy Sharp, he is sitting as our number one favorite, and he is definitely not the first player on the board. There are all of these other players ahead of him, 9 players, in fact, ahead of him on the board. In theory, it should take then Jimmy Sharp for us, the defensive end, because we set him as our favorite, and it should bypass the players that the game says are higher talent or earlier round draft picks. So let's go ahead and skip ahead to the next pick and see who it selects for us. It does actually select the player that is at the top of our favorites board. So it is the exact same thing as a draft board in previous years. They just simply changed the look of it a little bit and changed the wording around it. It is exactly the same, functions the same way, and will allow you to set a draft board to be safe ahead of time within the Madden 22 scouting update. That is going to allow you some leeway and allow you to have that flexibility and freedom to not necessarily have to be there on draft day in your franchises. So hopefully this video was helpful to you guys in some way. If it was, make sure you guys leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below with anything else you guys would like to see. Like I said, just wanted to give you guys this quick tips and tricks video for you so that you guys had all the information you need to be successful in franchise mode this year. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you have a good one.